Today, I want to talk about what is my favorite website and really tool in the cryptocurrency space when it comes down to data, and not only data, but accurate data. What's going on, everybody? It's your boy, Crypto Bobby. I hope you are having a great day, great night, wherever you are watching or listening in from. And a quick note, some of you may have seen this on Twitter already, but I'm kind of excited about it. The past two streams on Crypto Happy Hour, both times my USB microphone, which wasn't a cheap microphone by any stretch, crapped out halfway through the episode. And because of that, I went ahead and got myself a brand new microphone that is apparently one of the fancier microphones out there, as well as a brand new mixer too, with this sweet button on it. So I can do that anytime I want to do that. But hopefully no more issues on Crypto Happy Hour. The sound will hopefully sound better for you too. So excited about that. But today, the important part. Let's talk about on-chain FX and why, in my opinion, it is a tool that you should be using on a daily basis if you're interested in cryptocurrency. And before we get into it, diving into the specifics here, the first question is, Rob, is this a sponsored video? Rob, is this a sponsored video? Rob, is this a sponsored podcast? No, it's not. This was not requested. I haven't talked to anybody at On-Chain FX. This is simply, in my opinion, the best tool out there, and it has been for some time, but some of the recent features that the team at Masari has added to On-Chain FX are awesome. And just to prove it too, I mean, I've been talking about On-Chain FX back in October 30th of 2017, I think was the first time I ever mentioned it, and called it at that point in time better than CoinMarketCap. It might have not been at that point in time. We can see literally the number of columns that they had on the right-hand side were very limited, but now, as we'll get into, it's crazy. And shout out to the old Oracle office, shout out to a beardless Bobby, as well as BitConnect as the number 9 largest cryptocurrency in existence at $1.6 billion. But our guys and girls over at On-Chain FX and Masari, just On-Chain FX at this point in time, had a big red circle next to it to indicate, hey, you know, this is actually, that's a scam. This is a scam, whereas CoinMarketCap was displaying CPC ads driving people to BitConnect to earn 1% daily interest, and was no doubt a big driver in the fact that, hey, BitConnect existed and scammed a lot of people. So why do I recommend you utilize On-Chain FX, especially if you're interested in just data-driven approaches to cryptocurrency or just being able to make decisions better in the future? And the big thing, in my opinion, is just the plethora of options that you have when utilizing On-Chain FX over other things out there. And this is a free tool. There is nothing you have to pay to utilize it. There's no advertisements. There's nothing distracting about it. But this is an awesome tool because it allows you numerous options to whether you're investing or you are interested in just seeing what is out there or what's trending in the space. On-Chain FX is, in my opinion, the best way to do it. In this video, I want to just point out some of the cool features that I think will hopefully help you as an individual go through the process of utilizing this tool and hopefully just getting better data out of it, and also sharing that data with other people if you so choose, or if you have something that's super awesome and a great view and great data points that you really want to dive into and keep from everybody else, by all means do so. One of the limitations about On-Chain FX used to be the fact that they only had like 50 or 60 different crypto assets or cryptocurrencies, whatever, on the website. Back when I recorded my first video and introduced a bunch of people to it in October of 2017, there were like 50 assets, which is fine. But when you're competing against CoinMarketCap with 1,500, you can't get as much data. Now there's over 600, which is awesome. But not only are there 600 cryptocurrencies, which is basically the most important ones. Anything beyond that, you have like Putin coin and Trump coin and weed coin or whatever, things that don't necessarily make much of a difference and you're probably not really trading. But to that, there are a number of different ways you can sort this information, whether it's by sector, if you want to find stable coins or smart contract platforms or Internet of Things, or, you know, computation platforms, lending platforms. You want to find by the different categories, whether it's currency, infrastructure, maybe even asset size. If you just want to look at large cap cryptocurrencies, like, hey, I don't want to trade anything that's a small or mid cap, it's too illiquid, might get stuck in a position, whatever. You can only look at large cap cryptocurrencies. Or if you are just loving life as a professional shitcoiner, you can go through the process of looking solely at micro caps and look at anything below $10 million and browse through that and find a bunch of information any way you'd like it. And then in addition to that, you could also look at a number of things like proof of work, proof of stake, or the other consensus mechanisms that one product or platform out there might utilize. In my opinion, the best thing about OnChainFX, or the reason I really like it the most, is it's really a dynamic spreadsheet that allows you to sort and customize things with really not endless, but close to endless data points that you can utilize in any way you really like. And what I mean by that is, yes, there are 600 assets, and then it allows you to create watched assets as well. So right now in my watched assets, I have Bitcoin, I have Tezos, I have Ravencoin. Ravencoin's crushing it right now. I have Monero. And if I want to add, let's say, Maker, and then I want to add Zcash, I can add those to my watch list. And I can essentially track if this is my portfolio. It is not. But if this is my portfolio, I can show only the watched assets and just track the ones that I'd like to track. Or I could also show other assets if I'm trying to maybe find a cryptocurrency that I really like and something that I want to perhaps make a trade on. And when I say OnChainFX is dynamic, I mean that you can go through the process of sorting these columns and adjusting them as you see fit. So if I'm looking at the watch list, I already know what's on my watch list. I don't need that there, so I could take that off. But I also don't right now care too much perhaps about the fully diluted market cap of some of these assets. So I'm going to remove that from the list. And then I'm also going to remove what is the reported market cap. So one of the best things I think about OnChainFX is they take somewhat of I don't want to say a skeptical, but a data-driven and non-fluffy approach to cryptocurrencies and to crypto assets out there. And they try to look at things with an eye where they're actually exploring the blockchain and they're going through the process of really getting detailed, granular information. And in that respect, there is, the process of having you have a reported market cap. That's something that might be on CoinMarketCap. But then what's the actual liquid market cap? What is the number of dollars or coins that are locked up perhaps for Ethereum, the parity hack or the parity wallet freeze, where there's $100 million that's locked up there? That's likely reflected in the fact that right now the reported market cap for Ethereum is actually lower than what they consider the liquid market cap to be. So I will remove the reported market cap from that. And then you can also see the fact that there's real volume and reported 24-hour volume. So we've talked about that in the past week or so, the Bitwise report that came out, some of the research that the block had done on faked volume as well. But you can see what people are reporting as volume, the aggregate global trading volume. And then you can also, if you want to see what is considered to be the real 10 trading volume that OnChainFX and Messari has coined as what Bitwise put forward as the 10 most trustworthy exchanges out there. I believe it was Binance, Coinbase, Gemini, Bittrex, Poloniex, and a number of other ones out there. But essentially 10 exchanges that have been found to not be faking volume, and some of the rest that have. So you can look at what they'd consider to be real volume or just the reported volume on CoinMarketCap as well. So for me, this is where it gets kind of fun, because there's a number of different data points that I like to utilize that help me to just get a feel for what's happening in the market right now, as well as just maybe make more intelligent decisions. And the big thing, and I think this is great. So OnChainFX has originally it was just all-time high, and then they added in what's called cycle low. So the all-time high for a lot of people that were in crypto in 2017, early 2018, December of 2017, January of 2018 was a crazy time frame. I'm sure a lot of people made a lot of money, and then I'm sure a lot of people lost a lot of money who invested in that time frame. But when you look at the percentage down from all-time high for a lot of these assets, it's not great. You have Bitcoin is down 80% from its all-time high. Ethereum is down 90% from its all-time high. XRP is down 92% from its all-time high. But what happens if we looked at what OnChainFX considers to be the cycle low, which is the lowest price that in the past that Bitcoin has traded against versus its all-time high? So if we look at the all-time high, how to explain that is the all-time high for Bitcoin was $20,000. What has been the lowest price since it hit $20,000. So the lowest price was actually, if we click on that and take a look, the lowest price was, according to OnChainFX, $3,100. So, okay, that's something. But what happened if you actually deployed capital or bought cryptocurrency, or whether it's Bitcoin or anything else? What happens if you bought at that cycle low or around that cycle low? Well, in the time since that cycle low happened, which is 3 months ago, Bitcoin is up 29% since that occurred. So while we might look at the all-time high being like, wow, it's down 80%, it's still a bear market, it's still awful, this is so bad. You look at the percentage up since cycle lows for a lot of these assets, you realize we've been in a fairly steady recovery for really the past 2 to 4 months for many of these assets. You look at Ethereum. Ethereum cycle low at $81. It is up 70% since that low. XRP, 7 months ago at cycle low. So XRP was actually a little bit of an outlier. It really dipped down hard 7 months or so ago, where the majority of the top assets in the, let's say, the high caps have cycle load in the past 2 to 3 to 4 months. XRP was 7 months ago, and XRP is only up about 22%. But what happens if you look about EOS? EOS bottomed out 4 months ago. It's up 181% since then. Binance Coin bottomed out 4 months ago at $4. It is up 300% since then. So I think for me, looking at something like these cycle lows, which you can't really see anywhere else, are fantastic ways to just pull up some data and see how things have been progressing. And here's another option. Let's say you are investing in cryptocurrency right now and you really like the idea of passive income. I am not going out and saying that passive income or proof of stake or masternode coins are great or they're bad. I'm just saying that you maybe are interested in those and you want to acquire some masternode cryptocurrencies or some cryptocurrencies that you can go through the process of staking. Well, Messari has an option for you to go down and select to get data points to see staking yield, as well as the percentage of the network that's staking. So right now, let's say you want to look at only large and medium cap, so anything over $100 million in market capitalization, and you want to find something with a staking yield that looks attractive to you. Well, if you go ahead and do that, you can see that right now, Decred is staking. If you are staking, 47% of the network right now is actually staking. So almost half the network, pretty incredible. But you'll receive an annual yield of about 11%. Perhaps you want to look at Dash or Tezos as well. Dash is providing a 9% annual yield. Tezos is providing over a 7% yield. So you can look at these data points and help determine like, hey, this is something maybe I want to check into these and see what type of staking yield I would actually earn if I would go ahead and do that. But also to that point too, what's the minimum? Maybe I can't afford something that is, maybe I can't afford one that has a really high minimum. Maybe NEM doesn't work for me, or maybe I can't afford 1,000 Dash for a masternode. That's helpful as well, isn't it? So perhaps you're going through the process of evaluating this data and figuring out, hey, I am interested in this cryptocurrency, but what's the supply inflation percentage? Because I've seen some cryptocurrencies. Maybe I've looked at Grin recently and I really liked Grin, but I saw the price dropping substantially because the inflation rate's so high. Guess what you can do in OnChainFX? You can go through the process of evaluating the current inflation percentage. It's not available for everything. Some things, either ICO'd or don't have an inflation percentage because they're not mineable, whatever it might be. But if we look at something like Zcash, Zcash has a 42% inflation percentage right now. Perhaps that's something where you feel like if you're acquiring any Zcash, the dilution there is not worth the time. Going back to Decred had the highest staking yield out of any of the mid to large cap stakeable crypto assets. It was around 11%, if I recall. However, the current inflation percentage is 20%, almost 21%. Is that 11% yield justified for a 20% inflation? This is one of the better ways to go ahead and actually find out that critical information before you make any decisions based upon it. So my goal for this video is just to really show you the options that you have in using OnChainFX. And I think it helps to just give added and needed perspective when you are evaluating cryptocurrencies or looking at the market and just having a better idea of the data and the options available to you. And as always, there are a ton of categories that I didn't go through that allow you to sort through them. You just click on obviously the information button next to them, and it has a great descriptor as to what those are. And in addition to that, if you ever want to go through the process of exporting to CSV or even sharing a custom view of your timeline, I could go through and say, this is my timeline. I could generate a custom link and I could share that out to anybody anytime I really want to, whether it's on Twitter or to my friends or whoever it might be. So key takeaways from this for me is, number one, on-chain FX is sweet. I use it all the time. I really like it. If you use it, I would love to hear from you. If you're listening on the podcast, you can always check out the video for this as well. It helps to add some visuals, but on-chain FX is great because it provides a lot of helpful information. If you utilize it, let me know in the YouTube comments. If you have questions about utilizing it, let me know. And then the data takeaway from my standpoint that is important as well, if you're just looking at anything, 2018 was an awful year. 2017 was the most ridiculous year in crypto's history, or one of the most ridiculous years. 2019 so far hasn't been that bad. You look at the year to date so far and where we've been through. 2017, Bitcoin did a 1,600% upswing and then a 72% pullback. So far in 2019, we're up close to 9% for Bitcoin, up about 3% for Ethereum, down a little bit for XRP, but for the most part, it's green across the board in 2019, whereas 2018 was a sea of 70, 80, 90+% downward spirals. So there's still hope, maybe. Who knows? Until then, looking forward to hearing from you folks in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit a thumbs up button, hit that like button. Helps to get this video out to as many people as possible. Until then, Crypto Bobby signing out. Have a good one. Peace.